Cars conspiracy.
Do you really expect me to believe that?
Well, you should. You was there too.
Hi everyone. This is a re-upload of my Cars theory because of some copyright issues. Cars is a weird franchise. The world in the Cars movies is like ours, except for the small detail that everything is cars instead of humans. Which is a very weird premise for a movie franchise, and it only gets weirder the more you think about it. Here are just a few things that everyone always loves to bring up. In Cars 2, we see a car pope riding in a sentient pope-mobile.
Like, when you really think about it, Cars is actually kind of weird too, because you have multiple people being inside other people. How does that work?
Catholicism exists in this universe, which implies there was a Jesus Chrysler who died for our car sins. There is a Cars TSA, which implies Cars 9/11 probably happened. There is a World War II Army veteran car, so this universe also probably had Car Hitler and every other historical figure and tragedy.
Yeah,
now,
we can
there has
assume.
already been endless discussion about these movies, and the question that everyone loves to ask the most is, what exactly are cars? Because how can cars exist without humans? Everything about the way they look has clearly been specifically designed by and for humans. I mean, what purpose do these tiny little door handles have in sentient car world?
My theory is like it's cars for cars, meaning the cars are technically humans. Like how we would see humans is how the cars would see other cars. And the door handles, some cars have door handles and other cars doesn't. Like Lightning McQueen, he doesn't have any door handles. It's kind of like if you open a car door, you're kind of like going through surgery. And it's like ease of access. Maybe that's just what my theory is.
Because of this, a lot of people like to believe that Cars takes place in some kind of post-apocalypse after all the humans died out. Maybe there was an AI smart car uprising, or maybe somehow the humans became their cars, or whatever. And for years, people have debated this, and no one can agree on what the cars actually are. Not even the creators, who all have conflicting things to say about this franchise. But I think the answer is actually pretty obvious. If you look at just the Cars movies themselves, and not the different creator interviews, or the Pixar theory, or Easter eggs from other movies, then it becomes pretty clear that this world has never had humans in it. I mean, first off, we can clearly see that throughout all the history of this world, everything has always been cars, even all the way back to dinosaur cars.
I agree.
I don't know much about these dino things.
I know the logo for Dino Co. kind of looks like a real dinosaur for some reason, but other than that one contradiction, it's just straight up car dinosaurs. It's always been cars.
What happened to the dinosaurs now?
And I know people like to say, oh, maybe the cars are just recreating human history, but even if that's somehow true, the human theories still don't make sense because in the Cars world, everything is cars. And when I say everything, I mean everything. The animals in this universe are cars. The plants are cars. Literally, the mountains and clouds are car or vehicle shaped. This is not a world where just humans were replaced by cars. This is a world where everything, even the physical world itself, is car shaped.
Okay, that's weird. But why does the world have to be car shaped? Like even the world in our world is not like human shaped. Like even the flies are cars. Like the only species is car and trucks and planes and stuff like that. But that's weird.
You can even see a periodic table for just a few seconds in the background of Cars 2 that's been renamed to the automotive table of elements. And it's unfortunately too small and blurry to read, but there is a full-size version of this poster in Disney California's Cars themed area that seems to show us that even the elements themselves have been renamed to car puns. And I like to think that this implies that even on an atomic level, the elements themselves that make up this universe are also car-shaped. So no, I do not believe that humans ever existed in this world. This is just an alternate reality where things are car-shaped. And I think there are two possible explanations as to why.
I agree.
You can either take a carvolutionist perspective and assume this is a universe where the car shape just happens to be the most efficient shape for survival and entropy, kind of like how we can see the golden ratio spiral everywhere in our world, or like how different animals can independently evolve into crabs because the crab shape is just so badass. pass. Or we can take a car-rationism perspective and assume there is an all-powerful car god out there that has shaped and renamed the world into his image. We do know there is religion in this world, and there has been mentions of a manufacturer in place of the word god.
Thank the manufacturer, you're alive!
So, you know, maybe Car God did it. So that is my Alex Bale take on all of these Cars theories. I am sorry if that's not as fun or dark and edgy as a post-apocalyptic human theory, but I think it's undeniably what the actual movies themselves support.
And honestly, that makes sense. That's a pretty good theory. Like, all the cars would make sense if they're not from other cars or just made there by evolution. It needs to be some type of higher power. How did the cars get there? Why are the cars there? What the evolution theory misses sometimes is what created a system sort of statement, like, yo, begin, like what created the beginning.
Now that basically covers all the stuff that everyone loves talking about with the Cars movies. But the real reason I'm making this video is because there's still something that most Cars theories never talk about. Something that most theorists just pretend doesn't exist because it makes the weird and convoluted Cars franchise look tame in comparison. Yes, that is correct. This is no longer a Cars theory video. This is a theory about Mater's tall tales.
If I'm lying, I'm crying.
So, Cars is a weird franchise, but the weirdness is kind of contained to the fact that they are sentient cars. Other than that, they're just kind of normal people doing normal things. Except for when it comes to Mater.
My name's Mater.
Mater?
Yeah, like
Okay.
Mater, but without the tuh.
Mater is Lightning McQueen's best friend, and he's kind of a dumb, lovable tow truck who was born in Radiator Springs. Or I guess maybe in a mansion. They kind of retconned it in the new Disney Plus show. And he's just a pretty normal, simple guy,
He won 3 piston cups.
He did what in his cup?
except for the fact that he keeps accidentally ending up in weird, impossible situations. Like how in Cars 2, he accidentally became an international spy for the entire movie.
Honestly, when you think about it, like, through all the alterations, all the things that he's been through in his whole entire life, like, how is he still sane? How is he still logically thinking? And think about the practicality behind that. It's very interesting and weird. Why him?
You mean like insurance rate? Like a good neighbor, Mater is there.
And then got knighted by the Queen.
Sarto Mater.
And if you thought Cars 2 was a weird departure for the Cars franchise, well then prepare yourself for the insanity that is Mater's tall tales.
I used to be a fire truck.
What?
Daggum right.
Someone call Rescue Squad Mater!
These were a series of shorts that featured Mater telling Lightning McQueen different convoluted stories from his life, like the time he became a fire truck, or a wrestler, or an astronaut, or when he met aliens, or literally time traveled.
Later, Mater. Later, Mater.
And obviously, you'd assume that these are all just made-up stories because they're called tall tales, but at the end of every episode, they're always proven to be true.
That did not happen. Houston has another problem. Roger. That did not happen.
Mater, there's no such thing as time travel.
Oh, by the way, I never did get a chance to thank you for introducing me and Stanley.
And that's how you make history.
Okay, but maybe these are just weird, non-canon shorts. They aren't necessarily connected to the main Cars movies that we care about, right? Well, in Cars 3, we can see a poster that proves that Monster Truck Mater did actually happen. The creators had a chance to distance themselves from Mater's tall tales and instead decided to double down and make them officially canon. But the most confusing thing that happens in all of these shorts is halfway through every episode when Lightning McQueen questions the stories.
Jumping Carburetor Canyon? No way.
Yes, well, you remember. You was there too.
What?
Ready, buddy?
You really expect me to believe that?
Well, you should. You was there too.
Mater reveals that Lightning was
Why was he there? And how doesn't he even remember it? That's even more weird. It's kind of almost like every single time he says something, it happens. Is he predicting the future? Rewriting the past? Or is this just all coincidences?
So in all of these stories, despite him having no memory of being there.
Well, don't you remember you was there too?
What?
But remember, we know these stories are true, so why doesn't McQueen remember? Well, there is a funny theory that Lightning McQueen might have dementia from all of his many accidents.
No! Ow!
That is true. Lightning McQueen should definitely be dead. Yeah, CT.
And that does feel like the easiest explanation, but there's one small detail that contradicts it. In Moon Mater, Mater becomes an astronaut and goes to the moon.
Houston, I have a problem. He needs a tow.
Where on earth are we gonna get a tow?
Well, that guy's got a tow.
And later, we of course reveal that Lightning McQueen was there too.
No way.
Yes, way, but that was nothing compared to you.
But there's a very strange detail at the start of this episode that doesn't quite make sense. Before Mater gets his astronaut suit, why is he blue? Now, this isn't the first time we've seen Blue Mater. In Cars 1, there was a brief flashback that showed Radiator Springs in its prime, and we could see that back then, Mater was a clean blue tow truck.
Long ago.
So, this Moon Mater story must have taken place around that time. But this doesn't make sense, because Lightning McQueen only met Mater after he was covered in years worth of dirt and old dents.
Morning, Sleeping Beauty! Boy, I was wondering when you was gonna wake up.
He never knew Mater when he was blue, so how could he have possibly been in this story? So even if Lightning forgot, the timeline still doesn't make sense. And it's not like they even needed to make Mater blue in this short. The creators put in extra effort here just to make their story make less sense, but why? And it's not even just Lightning that doesn't remember this. In Cars 1, Mater says this about a road Lightning made.
It's like it was paved by angels.
Oh, I tell you what, I bet even the roads on the moon ain't this smooth.
I bet even the roads on the moon ain't this smooth. But wait, at this point, hasn't Mater already been to the moon? Isn't I bet kind of a weird thing to say if Mater should know for a fact whether or not the moon is
So he's lying. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
It's like even Mater himself had no memory of this story. A story that is proven to be true at the end of the episode.
That did not happen. Vader! Houston has another problem.
Wait, so if he doesn't remember it happening, how does he tell the story in the first place?
How does any of this make sense? It's almost like these stories only become true after Mater tells them, which kind of implies that look at the way Lightning reacts when we reveal he's also in the stories.
Well, don't you remember you was there too?
What?
You was there too.
What?
That was nothing compared to you.
It's not like he'd been there the whole time, it's more like he was literally plucked from time and space and teleported into this story at this exact moment, just because Mater said the words, "You was there too."
You was there too.
And then there's also the fact that even though these stories presumably take place many years ago in many different places, every single time as soon as Mater finishes telling them, something from the story coincidentally appears right next to them.
Did so?
Did not.
Hello, Doctor.
That did not happen. That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Come on, Mater! Everybody conga!
Again, it's like the mere act of Mater telling the story is what causes it to happen, which implies that somehow Tow Mater, the simple Radiator Springs tow truck, has the god-level ability to change reality just by speaking.
Yep, storm's on its way.
No way. Look at the sky.
Well, you should.
If that's true, why? Why is he presumably the only guy to say something and it happens? Why him?
Listen, I know this idea sounds really stupid and crazy, but if we look back through the entire Cars franchise with this in mind, suddenly, a lot of the weird inconsistencies in this dumb franchise start to make a lot more sense. Let's start with something small like Mater's birthplace changing. Originally, we were shown that he was born in Radiator Springs.
You've never been outside Radiator Springs, have you?
Nope.
But in the new Disney Plus show, Cars on the Road, we are told that he was instead born in a rich family and grew up in a mansion on the east side of America.
You grew up here? Yep.
But let's go back and take a look at the first time everyone in Radiator Springs learned about this.
I'd say Mater's been holding out on
Mater is a complicated guy.
Mamma mia, Mater has a sister?
Boggles the mind, man. No, non ci posso credere.
Mater clearly just told them the story about his family and where he grew up, a story that nobody knew about before,
Wait a minute. You have a sister?
but now is suddenly proven true,
You grew up here? Yep.
just like Mater's tall tales. I think this continuity error was caused by Mater's reality warping powers.
You was there too.
In the first Cars movie, we can see a photo of
Okay.
Conehenge, which is the Cars World's version of Stonehenge. But later, in Cars on the Road, we see it's now been changed to Carhenge.
The sign said, don't touch.
So, why is this structure so inconsistent? Well, why did McQueen and Mater go to Carhenge in the first place?
Look, you picked the last 3 stops. Carhenge.
Anyway.
Because it was Mater's idea.
You picked the last 3 stops.
He probably previously told Lightning about Carhenge, which caused it to change. Okay, but these are just little inconsistencies.
No, but Lightning McQueen said Carhenge as well, meaning that it's like normal for it to be called Carhenge instead of Stonehenge. So it doesn't really make sense why. Something I'm just not understanding is why would Mater be the only guy to have that type of power?
What about something big? How about the fact that the Cars franchise, a pretty simple series about cars racing each other, suddenly decided to make an entire movie about the funny side character becoming an international spy?
Mater, we've got to get that bomb off you.
Bomb? You. Why didn't my death ray kill you?
Death Ray! Doesn't that sound more like the plot of a Mater's Tall Tale? Well, actually, take a look at what happens at the end of the movie when we cut back to Radiator Springs.
So there we was, guns drawn. We was goners. But then, out of nowhere, this beautiful spy car swoops in from the sky to safety.
That's a very entertaining story, young man.
Oh, Minnie, please, come on. None of this happened.
No, you're quite right. It does sound a bit far-fetched.
It sounds like every single time he tells a story and somebody doesn't believe it, it happens. So it's not the fact that Mater has the power, but it's almost like the people who doubt him enable the power to happen.
This is Holly Shiftwell.
I'm Mater's girlfriend.
Cars 2 was a Mater's Tall Tale. It follows the exact same formula.
That did not happen.
See you later.
Come on. None of this happened.
I'm Mater's girlfriend.
And it all happened just because Mater spoke it into existence. This theory literally makes the insanity of Cars 2 make more sense.
You mean like insurance rate? Like a good neighbor, Mater is there.
This dumb State Farm joke also makes so much more sense now because Mater has the exact same powers from those State Farm commercials.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey, Dave.
With a sandwich.
Oh, yeah. And the girl from 4E? And can I get a hot tub?
Well, don't you remember? You was...
And can I get a hot tub?
Mater is unironically the most powerful character in all of fiction. He could literally beat anyone in a fight just by uttering the words, "You was there too." And I believe that he has been secretly manipulating the events of this entire franchise for his own benefit. Now, I don't really have any strong evidence to prove this, but to me, the start of the first Cars movie also kind of feels like another Tall Tale.
Morning, Sleeping Beauty. Boy, I was wondering when you was gonna wake up.
Take whatever you want, just don't hurt
hurt me!
A famous race car just happens to accidentally get stuck in the same town as Mater, and they become best friends for life, and he decides to never leave because Mater is just so cool.
My best friend, what are you gonna do?
That just kind of sounds like something Mater would make up to manifest a cool, famous best friend.
I knowed I made a good choice.
In what?
My best friend.
Also, the way that lightning gets stuck in Radiator Springs requires so many insane, unlikely coincidences that all have to happen perfectly at the same time that it kind of feels like it was caused by some kind of divine intervention. Both Lightning and his transport truck, Mac.
That's actually very significant data because Mater is a guy that tells stories, but why did every single coincidence happen in this exact sequence of events in particular way where Lightning McQueen just so happened to show up in Radiator Springs and becomes his friend? Suspicious.
To fall asleep at this exact part of the interstate, and also at the same time these random hooligans needed to show up and decide to mess with Mac.
Yo, Wingo! Lane change, man!
And also this Lightning McQueen toy needed to fall at the right time and land on this specific button that opens the back of the truck. And also, this guy needed to sneeze at this exact moment to cause Lightning to fall out of the truck. And also, there needed to be a similar-looking red truck nearby to confuse Lightning into driving towards
That's
Radiator
true.
Springs.
All of this is true. All of this is true.
Mac! You're not Mac!
And also, the cop needed to be here, and his engine needed to be backfiring, which caused Lightning to think that he was being shot at.
Honestly, how does that work? How can a cop shoot at you? For what exactly? And also, how can he hold guns? Never mind.
Which caused him to drive uncontrollably into Radiator Springs and wreck the town. Which finally caused them to imprison Lightning in the town with Mater.
You was there too.
What? Every single one of those insane coincidences needed to happen at that exact moment for Lightning McQueen to meet Mater and become his best friend. Which honestly makes more sense if it was all somehow actually divine intervention from Mater.
I knowed I made a good choice.
In what?
My best friend. You was there too.
Now, how did Mater obtain this god power? I honestly do not know. And believe me, I have looked everywhere in every piece of Cars media for an explanation. I even read the fucking comic books, but unfortunately, there is nothing. Mater just has this ability to change reality for some unexplained reason, and he is using it to live his best life and go on fun adventures with his best friend, Lightning McQueen.
Mater, how'd you like to come and see the world with me?
You mean it?
And you know what? Good for him. We can even see in the Cars 2 credits that after the movie, they travel the weird car-shaped world together and visit all the great car wonders of the world. And of course, they climb the iconic weird car-shaped mountains of this weird franchise. And that is my Cars theory. So thank you very much for watching.
Wow.
Hang on a second. Is this world's Matterhorn shaped like Mater? And yeah, look, it's even been renamed to be spelled like him. Wait a second. There is an all-powerful car god out there that has shaped and renamed the world into his image. Wait, is Mater the reason why everything is cars? Is Mater just straight up God? So, in the Cars franchise, everything is cars. Except, there is one contradiction to that shows up repeatedly in almost every piece of Cars media. The logo for Dinoco kind of looks like a real dinosaur for some reason. The Dinoco logo. Dinoco is one of the racing brands that shows up all the time in this franchise, and their logo is a silhouette of a big dinosaur. But it's not the dino cars that we've seen in museums, it's clearly just a regular, non-car shaped dinosaur. It's a weird contradiction to the everything is car rule that pops up all over this franchise. Now, if there is some kind of car god that shaped the world into cars, why would he be so inconsistent with dinosaurs? It's a strange thing to leave out. It's almost like whoever created this world didn't know much about dinosaurs. Huh. Does that remind you of anyone?
I don't know much about these dino things. What happened to the dinosaurs now? I don't know much about these dino things.
How can he possibly be God? There ain't no way. All-knowing, all-powerful God not knowing something? A little suspicious.
Well, dadgum, McQueen boy, I tell you what, I sure do like me some cars. Wouldn't it be fun if everything was cars? I don't know about that, Mater. That doesn't really make any sense. Well, shoot, you should know, McQueen. You was there too. What?
That was a good video. Shout out to Alex Bale.